Today, we need to get into the fat facts. Still, I think a lot of you are confused. Welcome, my peeps. Let's get into it. I'm very humble and I'm cold as shite. I'm living in a camper and it's like gonna be 20 something degrees, so I'm a little layered. But I'm layered because I just came from outside giving the horses some hay. But let's get into it. Fat facts. Let's go down the line on the importance of fat and what a lot of people are not doing. So number one, most people don't eat enough fat. Number two, most people don't understand that the fat on the meat, like your ribeye or your ground beef, is not enough total for the day to get into ketosis, because the more fat that you consume in meat is the more meat you consume, and too much meat can spike your blood sugar. So a lot of people do that. They'll do all these ounces of steak to get to that ribeye fat, but there's just too much protein on it. Whereas something like pork belly is mostly fat. That's why when you cook it, the drippings, it's rendered fat, and there's so much of it. If you can find pastured pork, amazing, not high in omega-6 from a healthy pig, and glorious monounsaturated fats that are great to keto adapt. I also get what kind of fat, and I'm always surprised because I'm like, animal fat. But I guess there's all kinds. There's fish, there's chicken, whereas the ruminant animals, the cow, lamb, those are two that are amazing. But the chickens, especially pastured chickens, butter is one of the best fats because it's complete with omega-3, CLAs, ALAs, vitamin D, E, A, and K, especially vitamin A. It's really good for you. The problem is with butter is a lot of you guys are sensitive to the tiny amount of protein left in that butter, whey or casein. And if you're very reactive, even the tiny amounts of fat in butter can make you feel sick. And of course, that's to people who actually react to it. People who have histamine intolerance and are sensitive to butter. Now, some people have histamine and they're fine with butter. Every single person is very, very individual. Be careful when people are trying to consider, well, do I have ghee or do I have butter? Is ghee an animal fat? I'm like, it's butter. It's just been cooked longer. And what they try to do is cook out the impurities of the protein byproducts, whey and casein, so you don't react as much, which is quite helpful. But you still have to pay attention to those allergenic physical responses like mucousy, thick, headachy, tired, bloated, not feeling well, achy on butter. And so many of you people have plant fat. People still think that butter is inferior to things like avocado oil. I'm like, what are you talking about? That shite oxidizes quite quickly. Animal fat is very stable in high temperatures, like in Arizona. If you go to Arizona, I'm made out of a lot of animal fat, and it's not just going to melt and fall apart. And then super cold temperatures like right now. So it's very cold and heat stable, whereas the fruit, the avocado oil, or the coconut oil, which everybody thinks it's so good for cooking, but it actually has, the smoke point is not high. It's quite low. It smokes pretty fast under high temperatures. Coconut oil is not ketogenic, but it does have lauric acid in it. And lauric acid is amazing not only for the brain injuries, Alzheimer's, forgetfulness, but it's really good to fight as well yeast, fungus, bacteria. So for people who've got a candida infection, there is a product called monolaurin. It's concentrated lauric acid, and it literally goes after those candida buggers and wipes them, or takes the spore count very, very low. Of course, the trend of coconut oil, people started taking MCT oil because it was promised that you got into ketosis faster. What a frackin' scam of a lie. No. What gets people into ketosis is a whole video about regulating your blood sugar, regulating your insulin, your stress, cortisol pathways, workout time, how fast you chew, your macros. It's not just about taking some beta hydroxybutyrate garbage salts and then taking some MCT oil and then you're in ketosis because you see ketones in the blood. People keep forgetting to check the blood sugar because that is almost more important than ketones. If your blood sugar's high, your ketones are either not viable or they're low. So the kind of fat that you consume is really important when you're trying to be ketotic or a highly adapted keto state for a long time. Eating fat is like putting a bunch of logs on a fireplace and heating a house with no problem. It burns lower, but it burns even and for a lot longer in time. So you can leave your house and do a bunch of stuff and still heat it. That's sort of my comparison to your body. Carbs is like paper. It's like paper. But it's like burns real high, real fast, and burns out, and then you're just going through boxes of paper. And if you miss feeding the fireplace the paper, then you jack up your metabolism. But the animal fat is what we are made out of. It has mono, poly, and saturated fat. We are what we eat in that particular context. After coaching 8,000 people and more, I stopped counting a few years ago. People who ate larger amounts of animal fat produced more consistent ketones and lower glucose, because hence it's battling with people who suffer from hypoglycemia, which so many of you do. Your blood sugar's destabilized and you never know it until you get that glucometer. And then you can start drawing lines to tired, sleepy, naps, can't lose weight, whatever inflammation or ailment. It's very, very important to consume animal fat. But what kind? In my opinion, butter is the most all-around healthy fat because it's just packed with nutrition. But you can also consume lamb fat, beef fat, pork fat. Fish, be careful with fish because the stuff you get in them capsules, oh hell no. It oxidizes really fast and it goes rancid. Most people don't know that. So if you're going to get it in a bottle, don't get those capsules. Those fish oil capsules, not a good look. But like seed oils, we all know that seed and rapeseed and olive oil and avocado oil are not stable over time with light hitting it and high heat. It's really bad. But on the short term, if you're taking avocado oil or olive oil, make sure that the bottles are dark and you can actually put it in a paper bag while it's sitting in the cabinet or on the countertop, and then put it on your food. Don't cook with it. But how do you get into ketosis with fat? Let's go into it. You get into ketosis by eating a lot of animal fat. In the beginning, you're not going to be in ketosis. The blood sugar will be too high, the ketosis will be too low, or the inverse. And you still are crashing, which is huge. So you eat fat, and now you're sort of slowly trying to train the brain, but that you're bringing in a new fuel source, which is fat, because protein is a crappy source of fuel. You can't restore glycogen storages within the muscle on a bunch of 22 or 30 ounces of a ribeye. In fact, as you know with my prior videos, that too much protein can convert back into glucose and make your blood sugar unstable. And if you don't believe me, look at my comment section or use a glucometer and check it out. But you want your fat high. Don't do percentages, do macros, 200 to 300. It depends on the person's activity. Can you get fat eating fat? I need to do a whole video on that. Yes and no. You don't get fat from the fat. You get fat eating a high fat because your blood sugar is running high, and that's why you never just test ketones. You also track your blood sugar. If your blood sugar is high, it's going to incite bolus amounts of insulin, and insulin does not, what's the expression? It's not prejudice. That's not the expression, but let's go for it. It will take everything in your blood and store it. It just scoops it and puts it in your fat cell. But if you don't have an insulin response because your blood sugar is moderate to low and you eat a lot of fat, it goes towards your skin, collagen, structure of cells, the lining of your cells, your lungs, your brain, your reproductive system. It's insane how much your body uses fat because there's fat soluble vitamins and omega-3s and a lot of the animal fats if they're of high quality. This produces ketones. Once you're producing ketones, moderate your blood sugar by ramping down all the stress in your life and not eating too much protein, eating high amounts of fat, going to bed early, diaphragmatic breathing, exercise. I mean, all my videos, right? But once you get your lifestyle in order, because this isn't just a diet, it's a lifestyle, and you eat enough fat and you have good quality sources of animal fat, watch what happens. It's quite amazing, especially if you have hypoglycemia. But the one problem is people who have gallbladder issues. If you have hypoglycemia, you're able to fix it quite easily with the right information and the timing of your food, timing, type, and amount. But if you have a gallbladder problem, you have to keep considering how the gallbladder works, the symptoms like I've mentioned prior, that if you're coming from the world of veganism, 9 times out of 10, you probably develop some type of backup of sludge, which is thick, or stones that you can't see, or big stones. A lot of people have this problem. They don't know it. Like I said, you can do an ultrasound, but really the symptomology of gallbladder sludge or stones is nausea, right side pain, middle of the stomach pain, just bloated altogether. You might have achy eyes, heart palpitations, neck pain, shoulder blade pain, and again, like I said, pain that radiates to the back, we see stool, floating stool. I'm just kind of repeating myself, but these are the fat facts. If you don't have a gallbladder problem, you are lucky, because most people do. That means that you can really, really work on your lifestyle, get your blood sugar moderated, get your fats up super high so you can get into ketosis and stabilize that blood sugar, heal your autoimmunity, heal any type of expedited aging. I'm 56, so when I started eating fat, the fat is in this, oh my God, it's so amazing. The reaction in your skin, you're not like a dried out rotten apple because your fats are too low. So look at your poop, make sure that it floats, make sure that it's not a pale color or even a yellow color, make sure it sinks to the bottom. And constipation is a whole nother subject. Most people are like, I poop every day. I'm like, but they're nuggets. You're still constipated. Fat facts. Eat a lot of fat. Get fat-soluble vitamins like vitamin D, E, A, and K, which is great for your eyes, for your skin, for your reproductive system, for your brain, your thoughts, the brain fog, the depression. A lot of you guys are experiencing depression because you just don't eat enough fat. Proteins are too high. Blood sugar spikes like crazy. I can keep doing Real Talk with Stephanie and never, and I mean never, run out of people who had a problem with too high protein, who did not, and had too high protein and too little fat. And these people in the comment section like, I've done carnivore and I'm amazing. And I'm like, just give it time. I was the same way. My 5th year into keto, things started getting a little weird. I developed melasma because of a magnesium deficiency, which started messing with my hormones. I literally would crash and not be in ketosis if I was doing almond butter and the coconut manna. These types of fats you have to be very careful for, because the carbohydrates or the mold or the anti-nutrients. That was today's fat facts. I could keep going on and on and on, but I think this is a good start for those who are just finding my channel. 2 to 300 grams of fat. It depends on the person. I don't know, just if you ask me in the comment section. I need to know more of your background, which is clearly why I run a course, why I do consultations, and I will be launching very soon the challenge. I really am trying to educate people on how to do the dang thing if you have a gallbladder problem, what strategy the individual should take. If you have hypoglycemia, you just cannot get into ketosis. Then we got to figure out what's going on in terms of physiological insulin resistance or dysregulation of your blood sugar before you even try a keto diet, and how to stabilize that blood sugar and the stress before trying to even up the fat. There's a lot of moving parts, and I've done this for a very, very long time, and I love it. I love teaching people, I love learning myself, and I love sharing the things that can quite possibly help you. And that's my goal. That's why I don't do a bunch of weight loss videos or content, because people are so freaked out about weight and not about their total health. You're never ever going to lose the weight that you want. I don't care if you lost 60 pounds. You jacked your metabolism. You aged exponentially doing all this fasting. So be patient. People who are disciplined cross the finish line. You might make a few mistakes. You might actually make a few mistakes along the way, but that's okay. Like, for example, if you gain weight, that's okay because your body's healing. If your gallbladder is not freaking out, if you come from the world of low fat or veganism, and then you eat a lot of fat and your blood sugar still destabilized, be patient. It'll stabilize. It just takes a lot of work because you're coming from a whole lifetime of damage. But once you nail it, the ketosis or being ketotic symptoms or feeling that you get are out of this world. Energy. They're amazing. I've popped out of ketosis a few times. I'm like, damn, that's how normal people feel? That sucks. Depression, anxiety, stress, cognitive dissonance, confusion, memory loss. All of these things happen when the body doesn't get what it needs. So if you put yourself in ketosis and you sustain it, and you get all those stresses down, and you're eating super high quality food, and you know the timing and the type of the circadian rhythm, child, nothing can be better. Nothing. Believe. Some people are like, am I too damaged? I'm like, no. Nobody's ever too damaged. You always have to have the faith. Always. If you guys want to learn more or book a consultation or sign up for my course, go to stephanieperson.com. I got your back. I love what I'm doing. I spoke to a woman tonight from Australia. She actually booked a consultation and then was like, had so many problems with other keto coaches. She's like, I'm good, whatever. I'm giving you a last minute cancellation, so just keep the money. I said, hell no, never. Please, I said, let's do the consultation. And her reaction was, I'm really glad that I did. She was not insecure, she was uncomfortable. She didn't, I think at that point, people they're so desperate, and when things don't work out, it's like, oh, she sounds like she knows what she's talking about, but then they change their mind. And at the end of tonight, I'd love if I did a stuff talk with her. But at the end of our consultation, she was so grateful. And it's so powerful to watch somebody be so hurt, so sad, so confused, so misled, to then feeling excited about their future. And that's what it's all about. And I'm out. Peace. Allowing new experiences is what keeps your brain firing and wiring in the right way. It's just doing the same damn thing every single day. How are you going to change your food habits, your depression, your physical body, your sleep issues, your gut issues, your leaky gut, your histamine? If you keep doing the same damn thing every day, you have to challenge yourself with new experiences. Like I said before, getting this puppy, I wasn't ready for him. I have to watch every second to make sure he doesn't go out into the street or that he doesn't get stomped on. And I mean, they've all turned the butt and like put a back foot in a kick motion at him. And I'm like, no! So I can't wait for him to get old enough so he can protect himself, because right now he's so confused. He doesn't understand. Change your life. New things create new synapses.